Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All Power to the People podcast on Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself Internet Radio via the Huddle Team app. We meet every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We discuss local, national, and global events that impact the material conditions of the people and provide viable solutions. We are here to find those tired of the way their lives are socially constructed. As Panthers, we use dialectic materialism. As Dr. Huey P. Newton stated, power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. From combating the housing crisis to police patrols, we are the vanguard in place to serve our communities. The purpose of this program is to highlight contradictions in the electoral process, which Western culture calls politics. Politics is the struggle for resources. Participating in America's electoral process has only taken resources from the people and handed it to the oligarchs and the professional managerial class that serve them by maintaining the status quo through coercion. We know that power lies with the people, and it is our duty to organize and educate the community so that they can fight for their own liberation. So please join us every Sunday at 12 p.m. You can join by downloading the Huddle Team app, join online, or call in. The app and joining online is free, but if you call in, standard messaging rates may apply. Links to the show will be provided in the caption. This is General Secretary Patience of the new African Black Panther Party, NABPP North. All power to the people.
Um, all power to the people. Welcome to All Power to the People. I am your host, Chairman Africa. Um, this is All Power to the People on Grown Folks Talking Network. Express yourself. Yeah, you're not gonna get any kind of conversation like this anywhere else but here, man. I mean, we're really grateful to even be on this space to be able to have these conversations because you can't have these conversations anywhere else. Even though we're not doing nothing illegal, nothing out of the ordinary, all we are simply doing is listening to text from luminaries, people that we look up to, intellectuals. I mean, we listen to their text, we listen to what they're saying, and then we try to compare and contrast with what's going on today in our reality. Today we're going to tackle Ratchet of the Earth. Yeah, we're going to tackle it. Most people are scared of this book. But if you're a revolutionary, you're an activist, you want to call yourself serving the people, they used to call this book the Revolutionary Bible, something like that. I'm gonna have Mumia Abu Jamal, one of our greatest luminaries, one of our greatest fighters, still locked up, still incarcerated. If you want to support, you want to help him, you should send him some commissary. I know you don't have guns, we can't go bust the jails down and get them out. But if you want to support people that gave their lives for you, you could. The easiest thing to do is send them a couple of dollars in commissary, or even write them, reach out to hear from them. But he's going to introduce Frantz Fanon. He's going to tell you who Frantz Fanon is, tell you about Wretched of the Earth, and then we're going to go into it.
I wanted to say another book that I think kids should read and young people should read is The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon. You know, it's true I read it when I was 14, but I was a nerd. And it was mind-blowing. And when I read it today, it is still mind-blowing. Right? I get more of it today than I did when I was 14, of course. But The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon used to be called The Handbook of the Black Revolution. And this was this cat from Martinique in the West Indies. He went to France and then was sent to Algiers as a psychiatrist after he got his medical degree in France. And he joined the revolution. He joined the FLN, the National Liberation Front in Algiers. and he became a revolutionary. And he writes about that. I mean, he wrote like 5 or 6 books, but The Wretched of the Earth is his masterpiece. And it's when kids read it, they will remember it to their last day on earth.
All power to the people. Like you heard him, he committed class suicide. Just imagine back then, in the 1930s, 40s, he leave from Martinique, goes to get an education, becomes a psychologist. What percent of us graduate and become get degrees in universities right now? But think back in the 40s, he went to school, graduated even under all that oppression, got his degree. They had him going out to a war country while there was a war for him to go there to talk to the people because the people they said they were going crazy. They said, these people are crazy. These savages are crazy. The French were saying that the people that they were trying to colonize, that they were trying to take over, that these people were crazy because they were the way they were reacting towards imperialism, towards colonialism. So they're saying the way they're acting, they're not accepting it, they're crazy. So they sent him to go try to help them out. And when he gets there, he sees what's going on. He agrees with the people. He sides with the people. Even though he's a bourgeois Negro that went through, got a degree, everything, he commits class suicides and joined the revolution to try to free the Algerian people. These are human beings. He's a human being, just like you and I. See, most of us are too scared today. We're too scared to be able to come out of our skins, out of ourselves, and try to do what we know is right. But if you look through history, if you read through history, it is normal people that just say, no, I can't do this. My soul wouldn't allow me. But that's what Mumia just explained in a little bit to you. I'm about to we're going to play a little bit of it. I'm not going to try to cut in that often. But, try to listen. Try to pay attention and see if you can understand what he's saying. It's not hard. It's not complicated. You just got to focus because every word is powerful. There's nothing you can listen to. There's no music. There's nothing that you can listen to and hear this kind of art. Even the way that he writes to explain our reality, even though he's not here. I'm telling you, this it's like he be dropping bars. When I read these people, when I go back in history and I read this thing, there is no, because I remember when I was younger, before I started my day, the first thing I used to do is put on music. Going through middle school, going through high school. I even remember my senior year in high school, that what I used to have in my record player, in my CDs that I used to listen to before I went to school. And all these things was ruminating in my mind. None of that I listen to compares to listening to people like Frantz Fanon, listening to them put our reality into words and capture it artistically. I'm about to play it for you. But you got to pay attention. You can't just be listening and on your phone doing something else. You're not going to be able to understand. You got to give it your undivided attention.
I wanted to say another book.
And before I even start the book, look, this book, just the readings that we do, we don't expect people to read. People don't read today. It's hard. After you work 2-3 jobs, you come home, people just trying to go to sleep to get up and work again. So the general secretary read this part right here. The rest of us in our organization are going to be helping to read the rest of it. But we take time out to read this. The general secretary takes time out to read it. We're just doing a few minutes of it. Try to give it your undivided attention because this is serious business. We're not just doing this to be doing this. We're not doing this for money. We're not doing this for anything superficial. We're doing this to find people that understand, people that are like-minded, for us to start to work together to change the conditions in our community. This is real work. I don't know any other endeavor on this planet that's more difficult than the task that we're trying to tackle. The first step of that is educating ourselves and understanding why we're doing what we're doing. So I'm about to play it right now.
Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon. Concerning violence, national liberation, national renaissance, the restoration of nationhood to the people, commonwealth, whatever may be the headings used or the new formulas introduced. Decolonization is always a violent phenomenon. At whatever level we study it, relationships between individuals, new names for sports clubs, the human admixture at cocktail parties, in the police, on the directive boards of national or private banks, decolonization is quite simply the replacing of a certain species of men by another species of men. Without any period of transition, there is a total, complete, and absolute substitution. It is true that we could equally well stress the rise of a new nation, the setting up of a new state, its diplomatic relations, and its economic and political trends. But we have precisely chosen to speak of that kind of tabula rasa which characterizes at the outset all decolonization. Its unusual importance is that it constitutes, from the very first day, the minimum demands of the colonized. To tell the truth, the proof of success lies in the whole social structure being changed from the bottom up. The extraordinary importance of this change is that it is willed, called for, demanded. The need for this change exists in its crude state, impetuous and compelling, in the consciousness and in the lives of the men and women who are colonized. But the possibility of this change is equally experienced in the form of a terrifying future in the consciousness of another species of men and women, the colonizers. Decolonization.
Let me stop you right there for a second, because what he's telling you right now, us wanting to bring rent down, us wanting the society to treat us fairly, it's in contradiction with the people that are in power, the people that are maintaining that system. He's telling you we're two different species. We're not the same. Their existence is dependent on our exploitation. And you must understand this before you even talk about joining politics, because politics is the struggle for resources. And if you're struggling for that resource, there's nothing to talk about. There is no negotiation with people that their existence is dependent on doubling your rent, on throwing you into the streets so they can make more money, more social economics. That's what he's telling you. So when you talk about you're about to become an activist, you got to pick a side. Who are you going to be fighting for? Are you fighting for the people, or are you fighting for the people that control the society and all its institutions? That's deep. That's profound in itself. Because like most people want to be activists. They want to do the work in the community. They think going to go join nonprofits, going to go join political campaigns or go work for politicians, that means you're participating in the political game. You're not. You're participating in a structure which has been put there to make you think you have access to power. That itself is not power. That social construct was designed by those who have power to bamboozle and hoodwink you, like Malcolm told you, into believing this is how you solve anything. So from the onset, Frantz Fanon is telling you that you have to understand that you are coming in there to fight a battle with the people that your landlords, the corporation, the people, your boss. These people's existence is dependent on taking from you. And if you don't understand that from the onset, then you're going to be confused about everything you're doing.
Which sets out to change the order of the world is obviously a program of complete disorder, but it cannot come as a result of magical practices, nor of natural shock, nor of a friendly understanding. Decolonization, as we know, is a historical process. That is to say that it cannot be understood. It cannot become intelligible nor clear to itself except in the exact measure that we can discern the movements which give it a historical form and content. Decolonization is the meeting of two forces opposed to each other by their very nature, which in fact owe their originality to that sort of substantification which results from and is nourished by the situation in the colonies. Their first encounter was marked by violence and their existence together. That is to say, the exploitation of the native by the settler was carried on by dint of a great array of bayonets and cannons. The settler and the native are old acquaintances. In fact, the settler is right when he speaks of knowing them well, for it is the settler who has brought the native into existence and who perpetuates his existence. The settler owes the fact of his very existence, that is to say, his property, to the colonial system. Decolonization never takes place unnoticed, for it influences individuals and modifies them fundamentally. It transforms spectators crushed with their inessentiality into privileged actors with the grandiose glare of history's floodlights upon them. It brings a natural rhythm into existence, introduced by new men, and with it a new language and a new humanity. Decolonization is the veritable creation of new men, but this creation owes nothing of its legitimacy to any supernatural power. The thing which has been colonized becomes man during the same process by which it frees itself.
Jesus Christ. Yo, hey, yo, listen. Yo, in that little piece right there, yo, yo, we talk about gentrification now. We complain about the conditions in our community. Yo, right there, he's telling you all these things. Where all those back then when he's talking about the time he's talking about the colonizers are the one that manifested these realities. They manifested them with bayonets, with guns, coming in there to kill all the people in there, and then turning all those people into turning it into their colony, controlling that space. Yo, when you try to juxtapose that with our reality, yo, in the 80s, 70s, they brought drugs in the community. The school to prison pipeline. You see, they didn't use guns. They didn't come in our communities. Yeah, they gun butted us. Yeah, they came in with the police too. They did all of that. But it was strategic. They matured on how they took the colonies 100 years ago, 150 years ago. So when they came into our communities in the hood, wherever we're at, even in Appalachia, wherever they came in with drugs. They took away all the jobs. They refused to pay people. The school system. They created an entire ecosystem that they could exploit. And then as the time goes by, people forget this. And then they come in now and then they start to buy up the property in the community. They start to get the schools and they turn them into charter schools. Instead of doing what the community has been demanding for generations. The community is demanding better schools, better education. But the solution that they give the community is charter schools, coming in with different schools owned by private individuals, owned by other people that come in and still push the same curriculum, the same garbage. Now you don't have teachers that are qualified. They could just put anybody in there. They could just bring anybody and say, like, yeah, he's teaching in the room. They tell you they're gonna put 2-3 people added up, don't have a teacher's degree, but they're gonna put them in the classroom and say these are the teachers, and that's like now we got 3 people in the classroom instead of 1 person of a classroom of 30. So now it's better. But even the stuff that they're teaching them is still the same garbage. Systemic. How long we've been crying? How long we've been complaining about our education system? They don't have to bring bayonets. They systemically destroy the community. Use the police, use the court system to divide our homes, to remove the men from the homes, to target the men, lock them up in prison, and then destabilize the family. Like, this is all strategic means that they use instead of bringing the bayonet and just going straight out war with you like they did in other colonies. And what is the results of all of that? What is the results of the 90s, of the 80s, the 2000s? Now, what we are living through. Them coming in now, like the homes that they gave people in the 90s, in the late 80s, the homes that they sold to our parents, our grandparents, and they told them that this were their homes. They straight pencil whipped them. 20, 15 years later, they can afford to keep those houses. They knew they couldn't afford to keep those houses. And then they come and take those houses and they sell them on to corporations. And then you turn around one day, Newark, New Jersey, where we live at, used to be Chocolate City. Now I think it's a rainbow now. I don't even think there's chocolate in Rainbow. Seriously. But all of these things, France Fanon is telling you how they do it, how they systemically do it, so they know who you are. Because they're the ones that came in and created the atmosphere where they could come and harvest decades later. Every society that we live in, every community that we live in, this is what is going on now. And that's what it's explaining to you right then. That the colonizers know, the landlords know. All these people know. They know you. They know you have no power. They know you don't control the court system. You don't control the judges. You don't control the politicians. They know you. They know you don't know that. They know you don't know that this is not a democracy, that you're not free. They know you believe, like, if you go to church and pray, this will work itself out. And he's telling you, no superstition, no magical way of thinking is going to solve any of this. But they know, so they put churches on every block. They put a mask, a mask J. People go, yeah, even Muslims too. Y'all part of it, I mean, they get y'all too. Because people think, like, because I'm Muslim, that means, like, I'm conscious. It means I'm conscious. No, it does not mean you're conscious. That's not what being a Muslim means. That's not what being in any religion means. I mean, but that's what he's explaining right there. Somebody got their mic on, unless they want to say something. You want to say something? But that's what France Fanon is explaining right there, where he said they're coming in with their bayonets. They know they got the power they got by coming in there and brutalizing and killing the people, shooting them down. That's what they did in those colonies. Today, in our communities, our recent history, they're coming in to create the school-to-prison pipeline. They bring the drugs in there. They send all the jobs overseas. They destabilize the community and then come in and harvest it. If anybody disagree, explain to me why you disagree. But from what we're seeing, from the analysis that we're taking, this is what is happening right now, real time, from what he's talking about.
In decolonization, there is therefore the need of a complete calling in question of the colonial situation. If we wish to describe it precisely, we might find it in the well-known words, the last shall be first and the first last. Decolonization is the putting into practice of this sentence. That is why, if we try to describe it, all decolonization is successful. The naked truth of decolonization evokes for us the searing bullet and blood-stained knife which emanate from it. For if the last shall be first, this will only come to pass after a murderous and decisive struggle between the two protagonists. That affirmed intention to place the last at the head of things and to make them climb at the pace too quickly, some say. The well-known steps which characterize an organized society can only triumph if we use all means to turn the scale, including, of course, that of violence.
And he's explaining to you, all these people with these $1 million contracts, these $1 billion contracts, these landlords, the people that have power, that will power, that control our education system, that control the judges. The only way you defeat these people is through violence. They're not going to let you get a piece of the pie. This is chapter 1 of Wretched of the Earth. He's telling you, you have to be prepared for this violence because they're going to come after you. And that's what most people are afraid of. Most people just want to live their life, go ahead, go to work, and come home and do whatever they do, watch Netflix, whatever they do. That's all they want to do. They don't want to destabilize their lives. I mean, they're comfortable. So why even participate in anything that's going to bring about violence? Well, the lucky thing for most of you, the violence is nowhere near. You're already going through violence. But the violence that you're worrying about, we not there yet. Maybe not even in your generation where you're going to have to deal with that violence. Because as of right now, there's no revolutionary organization that even I know of that's fighting back against the system. So the violence that you're talking about is going to come after they see that you're a threat. a threat to what they're doing. They don't view you as a threat right now. Right now, you're part of their social construct. You participate within their social construct. You go through their voting process. You go to their churches. You go to their masjid. You go to their schools. You have not formed your own institutions to fight back against them. So they're not even fearful of you. They're laughing. That's why Trump can do all the stuff he's doing and just come out and blatantly lie. All politicians can come out and blatantly lie to you because they don't fear you. They know like what you're gonna do. There's nothing you're gonna do. But when you
It's
start,
Chutney. I had to call in because I couldn't get the video link. But I'm here.
who is it?
Chutney from Fail Forward.
How you doing? All power to the people. You good?
Yes, I'm doing well. I've been
All right.
studying.
All power to the people. Now, if you got anything to say, just cut in and just like you just did. But wait, I forgot what I was talking about. But never mind. I think I said it like 3 times already. Let me go back to French for now.
You do not turn any society, however primitive it may be, upside down with such a program if you have not decided from the very beginning, that is to say, from the actual formulation of that program, to overcome all the obstacles that you will come across in so doing. The native who decides to put the program into practice and to become.
Yo, I'm about to bring that back. So you need to hear that. If you call yourself an activist, you say you're fighting for the people. And this is what I told when somebody asked me. I don't remember exactly who asked me first about Donna Jackson in Newark, New Jersey. She's a politician that won, and so there's some uproar. She's a she's an activist. She says she's fighting for the people. What is gonna happen when she go into office? I said, I don't know what she's gonna do, but what I need her to understand is the atmosphere that she's stepping into, and that's what he's explaining right here. I'm gonna bring it back a little bit so you can hear it.
Program to overcome all the obstacles that you will come across in so doing. The native who decides to put the program into practice and to become its moving force is ready for violence at all times.
That's exactly. Yo, if you say you're fighting for the people and you're in political office and you're going to do the bidding of the people against all those other politicians that are gathering millions of dollars, that are now millionaires because these corporations have paid them to push a certain agenda, and you say you're coming in there to by and large block their agenda, to stop their money, yo, you got to be prepared for all kind of violence. Violence in them coming saying you raped somebody, you stole something, you did whatever violence of them shooting up your house, violence of them coming to try to kill you, poison you, getting your family to turn on you. Yo, if you look back at all the revolutionaries, the people that killed them is usually the people that were within their circle. You have to be ready. And I told Donnie, you better go in there with your knife sharpened. I mean, because that's what you got to expect when you're dealing with these people. And Fanon is telling you right from the beginning in chapter 1, if you decide you want to be an activist, you want to be a revolutionary, because that's why you're reading Wretched of the Earth. Why else are you reading it? If you're not reading it to understand on where we are and what we're supposed to be doing. So if you're reading it, you're trying to understand how we change our condition. That's why we're reading it here. And he's telling you from the onset, before you even start this program on how you're going to fight back, understand what you're stepping into. And that's what we tell everybody that say they want to become Panthers. I mean, because you got to be ready for the isolation from those who are traitors to the liberation, from the council people, from the people that run the school system, the jobs in this social construct. You have to be ready for that if you want to become part of what we're doing.
From birth, it is clear to him that this narrow world, strewn with prohibitions, can only be called in question by absolute violence. The colonial world is a world divided into compartments. It is probably unnecessary to recall the existence of native quarters and European quarters, of schools for natives and schools for Europeans, in the same way we need not recall apartheid in South Africa. Yet, if we examine closely this system of compartments, we will at least be able to reveal the lines of force it implies. This approach to the colonial world
its ordering, and its geographical layout will allow us to mark out the lines on which a decolonized society will be reorganized. The colonial world is a world cut in two. The dividing line, the frontiers are shown by barracks and police stations. In the colonies, it is the policeman and the soldier who are the official, it's the two go-betweens, the spokesman of the settler and his rule of oppression. In capitalist societies, the educational system, whether lay or clerical, the structure of moral reflexes handed down from father to son, the exemplary honesty of workers who are given a medal after 50 years of good and loyal service, and the affection which springs from harmonious relations and good behavior. All these aesthetic expressions of respect for the established order serve to create around the exploited person an atmosphere of submission and of inhibition, which lightens the task of policing considerably. In the capitalist countries, a multitude of moral teachers, counselors, and bewilderers separate the exploited from those in power. In the colonial countries, on the contrary, the policeman and the soldier, by their immediate presence and their frequent and direct action, maintain contact with the native and advise him by means of rifle butts and napalm not to budge.
Hey, yo, when I first listened to this and I first heard this part right here, yo, where am I at? Let me see. I'm gonna bring it back to 7 something because I want to go over that part that he just said just now. But this is what came in my mind when I listened to him say what he just said just now. Where is it at? Do we put it on here? I don't think. No, I don't think it's up here. Oh my goodness. Let me see where it's at. Nah, it's not up here. It's not up here, patience.
I didn't have time to put it, but it's in the chat if people want to look at it. The bars, I'll put the link in the chat.
Yo, nah, when I heard that part right there, like that's what I like every time I listen to that. Like let me go back on it a little bit so you can
Wretched of the earth,
right
from
here.
father to son. In the colonies, it is the policeman and the soldier who are the official, it's the two go-betweens, the spokesman of the settler and his rule of oppression. In capitalist societies, the educational system, whether lay or clerical, the structure of moral reflexes handed down from father to son, the exemplary honesty of workers who are given a medal after 50 years of good and loyal service, and the affection which springs from harmonious relations and good behavior. All these aesthetic expressions of respect for the established order serve to create around the exploited person an atmosphere of submission and of inhibition, which lightens the task of policing considerably.
Hey, yo, whatever what she put in the group chat when Malcolm smacks that table, yo, when I listen to that, it crystallizes everything. Yo, the illusion, because like everybody think they're not part of the our collective oppression. They don't understand how they're part of it. When I say a teacher is just as dangerous, just as evil as a police officer, as a pig, see, people don't understand what I mean by that. But in those few sentences, Frantz Fanon just put it together. Just put it together to tell you that all these things all these institutions that we participate in, early childhood, sending our children to these schools, these jobs that we go to, give our lives to, work till we're about to die, so we could get Social Security to just die. All of that, all us believing in all that illusion, makes policing us easier because we have accepted our own servitude going through all these institutions. That is what they're there to do. That is what sending our children is there to do, to make them docile, to make them forget who they are.
Established order serve to create around the exploited person an atmosphere of submission and of inhibition.
What does
which
that?
Lightens the
What
task
does that? Let's bring it back. What does that?
In capitalist societies, the educational system, whether lay or clerical, the structure of moral reflex is handed down from father to son, the exemplary honesty of workers who are given a medal. After 50 years of
Yo, it don't matter. You could just go with them white kids to the lake. I mean, because we live in a democracy. We are free. There's no racism here. I mean, so you could do whatever you want. I mean, we're gonna move away from the hood. We're gonna put our kids in these schools, and we're gonna move to the suburbs. I mean, what you teach your children, you're teaching them from the crib. You're teaching them how to be able to how to walk away from their people, their destiny, what they're supposed to be fighting for. And you're teaching them to believe in this illusion of an American dream that does not exist. And then you wonder what happened, what went wrong when these children fall victim to the illusion that you force upon them. Yo, this is deep right here, man. The education, like you think you're sending your children to school. We're not just sending our children to school. They go and learn how to be slaves to this system, and we don't see it. I don't know how to explain it in better ways for you to understand than he just explained it. The education system, whether lay or clerical, its purpose is here to subdue your anger, to subdue your knowledge of what's going on. That's why those schools are here. They will never teach you France Fanon in these schools. At 14, at 12, at 13, they're not going to teach you about your landlords, about the oligarchs that control the system. They're not. Why would they do that? They would demonize them.
societies, the educational system, whether lay
I
or
agree,
clerical,
Chairman.
the structure of moral.
All power to the people. Who is that?
Minister of Youth Party.
Oh, all power to the people.
Nah, cause like even working in the schools, like you can see like all the like little events they be having throughout the year, like the little career days, like little ceremonies that like when they bring like police officers in or like lawyers or doctors, like they're brainwashing them like little by little, trying to bring what they think are these like role models to the community, and the people that they think they should be when they grow up. And they do this like at an early age. Like they start kindergarten, sometimes probably even preschool. So
Now, all power to the people. And that's the importance of being in those systems, to see how they function. Real talk. Yo, that's deep. You see, I'm not in that space to really see it the way you see it because you're a teacher. You're in that space. But from an early age, what they introduce them to, the careers, the people they introduce them to, they're not introducing our children to revolutionaries, people that are saying this system is the problem, these institutions are the problem. They're introducing them to people that support these institutions. And now these kids are looking at that as what they're supposed to be pursuing. These are the goals they're supposed to be trying to attain. Instead of understanding what Fanon told you, the last must be first and the first must be last. That we are at war with these people. We are at war with this government, this system. Yo, thanks a lot, comrade. I mean, bro, I'm telling you, if you sit down and you listen to these people like Frantz Fanon, like everything that you see will become clear to you.
Reflex is handed down from father to son, the exemplary honesty of workers who are given a medal after 50 years of good and loyal service, and the affection with.
Pause. It's not 50 years no more. They moved it up. I think they're going up to 70 now. You have to work all the way to 70. I think what is it? Like the average age for a black man, black woman, what is it? But you got to work till 70 for you to be able to. I mean, like this is what they're saying. This is what the politicians are proposing. These are the ideas that they have. Who gave them these ideas? Did any of us tell them like, yo, you know what? The good thing, yo, this is a good idea. Instead of you going to bring down gas, bring down food, bring down rent, what I want you to go do is move up the retirement age to 70. I want to work some more years. You think that's what the masses of the people telling them? Or is that what the corporations are telling them?
Which springs from harmonious relations and good behavior. All these aesthetic expressions of respect for the established order serve to create around the exploited person an atmosphere of submission and of inhibition, which lightens the task of policing considerably. In the capitalist countries, a multitude of moral teachers, counselors, and bewilderers separate the exploited from those in power. In the colonial countries, on the contrary, the policeman and the soldier, by their immediate presence and their frequent and direct action, maintain contact with the native and advise him by means of rifle butts and napalm not to budge. It is obvious here that the agents of government speak the language of pure force. The intermediary does not lighten the oppression, nor seek to hide the domination. He shows them up and puts them into practice with the clear conscience of an upholder of the peace. Yet he is the bringer of violence into the home and into the mind of the natives. The zone where the natives live is not complementary to the zone inhabited by the settlers. The two zones are opposed, but not in the service of a higher unity. Obedient to the rules of pure Aristotelian logic, they both follow the principle of reciprocal exclusivity. No conciliation is possible, for of the two terms, one is superfluous. The settler's town is a strongly built town, all made of stone and steel. It is a brightly lit town. The streets are covered with asphalt, and the garbage cans swallow all the leavings.
Right now, he's talking about where our landlords live at. These are the settlers. The settlers are the people that come into the community, buy up everything, get all the, and like destroy our community, all for their financial gains. Those are our modern day settlers, the landlords, the corporations, the people that own all these corporations that control the politicians. The politicians themselves that move to the suburbs, the academics in these schools that live in the suburbs. He's telling you where they live at, how their communities are, where they live at. I mean, he's explaining to you how their streets are. This is in the 40s. And then he's going to explain where we live at, how we live in these projects, in these communities on top of each other, 20-story buildings, living next to each other, on top of each other with roaches, mice, everything. He's going to explain that to you. But first, he's explaining to you the people that are benefiting from our oppression, how their reality is, the superficial reality that they have, where they live at. He's explaining to you the reason why they will betray you, the reason why they will become politicians, they'll become mayors, council people, the things that the gains that they're getting from the corporations. He's explaining to you where they live at, and then he's going to contrast that with where the settlers live at. You'll try to see if that's like today, the suburbs and our inner cities, the ghettos.
Made of stone and steel. It is a brightly lit town. The streets are covered with asphalt, and the garbage cans swallow all the leavings, unseen, unknown, and hardly thought about. The settler's feet are never visible, except perhaps in the sea, but there you're never close enough to see them. His feet are protected by strong shoes, although the streets of his town are clean and even, with no holes or stones. The settler's town is a well-fed town, an easy-going town. Its belly is always full of good things. The settler's town is a town of white people, of foreigners. The town belonging to the colonized people, or at least the native town, the Negro village, the Medina, the reservation, is a place of ill fame, peopled by men of evil repute. They are born there. It matters little where or how. They die there. It matters not where nor how. It is a world without spaciousness. Men live there on top of each other, and their huts are built on top of the other. The native town is a hungry town, starved of bread, of meat, of shoes, of coal, of light. The native town is a crouching village, a town on its knees, a town wallowing in the mire. It is a town of niggers and dirty Arabs.
Damn. Damn. It is a town of niggas and dirty Arabs. Yo, Frantz Fanon wrote that. Where we live at. And what is our communities? It's a town of niggas Like, and I want to say that, Spicks. That's what we got here. That's what they call us. That's how they see us. You see, he say niggas and dirty Arabs. Today, in modern time, he's explaining to you what we got in Newark. What are the people that live in Newark? Most of the people that live in Newark. What is the conditions that we going through? And you know why you can't see their feet in the suburbs? He's saying like they can't see their feet, like because like people back then in the 40s, the natives, they didn't have no shoe, they didn't have shoes on. But the people that live in the suburbs, the settlers, they had shoes, so you could never see their feet. Even when they go out in the water to go swim and stuff in the beaches that they got, you can't see it. You know why you can't see it today? Because you can't afford to be there. You can't afford to be where they're at. You can't afford to be in the space that they're in, because we're in a class struggle, God damn it. Right here in our time, our battle is not the same. They're not coming in to Algeria, where he's talking about. They're not coming into Algeria to come in there with guns, with bayonets, with bombs, and all of that. No, they're using the school system. They're bringing drugs in the community. They're giving it to drug dealers, to drug kingpins. The drug kingpins sell all that drug. They stabilize the community. They lock them up for like 30, 40 years. They let them out, and the community see them as heroes. See, that's what he's talking about right here. That way of thinking, where it comes from. Who does that? Who orchestrates that? Like, it is just not something that just happens. It's not organic. It is structurally done. And these people, you can't negotiate the people that are doing this. You can't negotiate with them for your liberation. It's either the last shall be first or the first shall be last. That's it. There's no voting your way out of this or praying your way out of this. He's telling you systemically how they got to where they got to and how you defeat them.
The look that the native turns on the settler's town is a look of lust, a look of envy. It expresses its dreams of possession, all manner of possession. To sit at the settler's table, to sleep in the settler's bed with his wife is possible. The colonized man is an envious man, and this the settler knows very well.
You know, all of you that talk about it's all about the bag, going to get the bag. I just want to be rich. All you care about is money, money, money. They know that about you. They know you're an envious person, that you want to be with their women, with the fake titties, the fake butts, the fake everything. They know that's what you find attractive. Yo, for the hell of me, I don't know if any of my mans are here, but yo, like we never liked that fake stuff. We didn't. My generation of dudes, I don't know. Well, hold on, wait. My man Poet like anything, but he's an anomaly. Poet is an anomaly, you know what I mean? But most of the mans I know, my mans in them, like we ain't beef for all the fake stuff. But that's what these dudes, these people, this is what they're envious about. They want to be with these fake broads. Or these fake dudes, these fake, niggas. That's what the females want to be with. These people that got money. They know you're envious. And they set traps for you. That's why nobody can talk to you about doing anything, because it doesn't come with money. If they don't come with money, giving you money, you don't want to listen. Everything, your heart is about money. Relationship is about money. Anybody you talk to is transactional. You got to get something from dealing with that person, because you're a whore, man or female. You're a whore. You're a whore to the system, and they know that about you. They know if they give you money, you can rationalize anything. You can rationalize slavery. You can rationalize an apartheid. You can rationalize genocide. You could rationalize people sending black people to prison. You could rationalize a cop shooting a kid 50 times in the back. You can rationalize anything.
They can rationalize a concentration camp and say it's not their fight.
You will rationalize anything. Yo, they got the people at Delaney Hall that work there that they're paying, and they have people inside a concentration camp. They know these people are being grabbed off the streets and taken there. They know these people are being grabbed from court and taken there, but they don't care because they're getting bonuses. The ICE agents know what they're doing. That's why they put on a mask, because they know they're getting bonuses. They know they're envious. They know you are envious. You want to be rich. You want to be famous. You want to be like a celebrity. They know that's what kind of person you are. No character, no integrity, no nothing, because they made you that person since you was born. I mean, I said yesterday in a different space I was speaking in the 40-year loss of power, it said the hardest thing or the greatest task you can ever take on is molding yourself into the person you want to be. Molding yourself, because the person that you are right now at this moment is a social construct of the world around you that you had no hand in creating. So now once you get to that ideological stage, that philosophical stage where you understand that, your hardest task is molding yourself into the person you want to be. You want to be a person with morals? You can't hang around people that are throwing people into the streets, that are miseducating our children, that are not creating institutions or programs to serve the people, that are exploiting the people. You can't be in the same space with those people and just act like everything is normal. You can't. But if you want the access, if you want the money for your nonprofits, if you want the jobs that they have, if you want money, 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 you'll rationalize, contradict yourself, whatever, just to be able to be there. And they know that about you.
When their glances meet, he ascertains bitterly, always on the defensive. They want to take our place. It is true, for there is no native who does not dream at least once a day of setting himself up in the settler's place.
And you see, because there's not one native that dreams of setting themselves up where the settler is, in their home, in their suburbs. But you know there are people that don't dream that. As Panthers, that's not what we're dreaming. I'm not dreaming to go live in the suburbs. That's not what I'm dreaming, to be on nobody jet. My dream is liberation. George Jackson in a prison cell. You think George Jackson, blood in my eyes, you think he was dreaming about going to live in some Uncle Tom's house, sleeping with his bougie wife? You think that's what Malcolm was thinking about? Yo, for some of us, our dreams are revolution. Revolution in changing the condition, the society, wanting to see a better society, wanting to see a society of purpose, days of purpose. That is what we lust for, not what we have now. This is a bastardization of civilization. What we are dealing with, what we are going through, the life we're living right now is a useless life. We just live for materialism, for commodification, to work for people until we are dead. There's no understanding of life itself, of purpose, of the grand meaning of anything, of what's out in space. What are in these other planets? This planet is not going to be here forever. How are we trying to survive after this planet is finite? What is in the cosmos? That is not what we are like every day we're waking up to know who we are. Our better. This is not what we're doing. We are just workers. We are just slaves to corporations, generation after generation after generation. What have all these intelligent people produced? What do we have to show for all the technology? Nothing but ignorance, racism, patriarchy, hatred, violence, guns, fast cars, like just goofy stuff, video games. This is what we have to show for the technology. We can't go nowhere. Yo, this is disgusting. I'm disgusted to be living amongst this generation of human beings. I'm disgusted because like we are really doing nothing but going backward. We're de-evolving. We fighting about goofy things like race, like what border that somebody was born in, what line, where on the planet they was born in. These are the goofy things we fight about because that's the people that control society. This is where they want our minds.
This world, divided into compartments, this world cut in two, is inhabited by two different species. The originality of the colonial context is that economic reality, inequality, and the immense difference of ways of life never come to mask the human realities. When you examine at close quarters the colonial context, It is evident that what parcels out the world is to begin with the fact of belonging to or not belonging to a given race, a given species. In the colonies, the economic substructure is also a superstructure. The cause is the consequence. You are rich because you are white. You are white because you are rich. This is why the Marxist analysis should always be slightly stretched every time we have to do with the colonial problem.
And what he means by that the Marxist analysis should be stretched, because the Marxist analysis is a class one. It is not a racial one. I mean, the Marxist analysis is a class analysis. It's not a racist one. And I believe in the Marxist philosophy myself, but I understand the racial undertones under it. The what's the word I want to use? The race is what's the term I want to use? I'm getting old, man. Social stratification. I mean, these are all social stratifications on how you separate people. I understand racism is powerful. I mean, like, and if you look at everything from the class perspective, you will miss the race part, you will miss the gender part, you will miss all the different stratifications that they have to keep us separated and fighting each other. And that's why he's saying the class one must be expanded, because in this context, it is about race. Because you got to remember, Marx is European. This is amongst white people hating other white people. When you're going from white people dominating people of color, you have to stretch that Marxist frame of thinking to include class, which is what we're dealing with today. We're dealing with class because all the people administrating our suffering look just like us. The council people look like us. The mayors look like us. The teachers look like us. The police look like us. But the difference now is it's a class one. They're paying these people for them to go live in these places where they want to sleep with this fake booty, fake titty people. They want to sleep with this Uncle Tom Negroes. Like, they're paying them. They're giving them jobs, paying them a superintendent in the school where it's been failure for decades. Since he's been there, it's been failure, making six figures, 200,000, 300,000 a year as a superintendent to maintain failure. That person don't want to hear nothing you're telling them. You go listen to Roger Leone. Go to the North School Board and try to speak to Roger Leone. You would never come to a consensus because he would be spinning. He would be spinning you all around till you get dizzy. You wouldn't know what's going or coming because he has an incentive to spin you. And most people, they're not sophisticated enough to be able to deal with these people. You don't understand. You haven't studied. You haven't read Frantz Fanon. See, but when I walk in there with Roger Leone, I know who he is. I know what his purpose is. So he can't spin me.
Everything up to and including the very nature of pre-capitalist society, so well explained by Marx, must here be thought out again. The serf is in essence different from the knight, but a reference to divine right is necessary to legitimize this statutory difference. In the colonies, the foreigner coming from another country imposed his rule by means of guns and machines. In defiance of his successful transplantation, in spite of his appropriation, the settler still remains a foreigner. It is neither the act of owning factories, nor estates, nor a bank balance which distinguishes the governing classes. The governing race is first and foremost those who come from elsewhere, those who are unlike the original inhabitants, the others. The violence which has ruled over the ordering of the colonial world, which has ceaselessly drummed the rhythm for the destruction of native social forms and broken up without reserve the systems of reference of the economy, the customs of dress and external life, that same violence will be claimed and taken over by the native at the moment when, deciding to embody history in his own person, he surges into the forbidden quarters to wreck the colonial world. Is henceforward a mental picture of action which is very clear, very easy to understand, and which may be assumed by each one of the individuals which constitute the colonized people. To break up the colonial world does not mean that after the frontiers have been abolished, lines of communication will be set up between the two zones. The destruction of the colonial world is no more and no less than the abolition of one zone, its burial in the depths of the earth, or its expulsion from the country.
There's no negotiating with your slumlord, with the landlords. It's either they gotta go or whatever. But there's no negotiating with them. They're not going to try. Even if you negotiated with them and they say we're going to stabilize rent, in a few years they're going to be getting politicians in to move the rent up. There is no negotiating with those class of people. That's what he's telling you right there. No negotiation. The settlers, these are the slumlords, the corporations. These are the politicians that serve them. There is no negotiating with them. That's what Frantz Fanon is telling you. And going to the voting booth is negotiating with the system, trying to negotiate with them. If I put this person in, if we vote this person in, they're going to do what? They're going to stop all the other politicians that are controlled by billionaires and millionaires. What are they going to do? From the local to state to federal, what are they going to do when you put them in there? Nothing. They can't do nothing. And which is why I should have had the video here that was explaining how in the last 30, 40 years, nearly all of the policies that the people wanted, America did not pass them. They're not passed by none of these politicians. None. Nothing we demand. Nothing the people demand. They do not pass. They do not put out policies for the people. You know what kind of policies they put out? They put out what they call it? The area AMI, area income, whatever. And they say that's what they're gonna go by when they deciding how much you pay for rent. But they know they're cooking the books because they're putting people that make $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 with people that make $13,000, $10,000. They're mixing them all in a pot and they're coming together and they're like, yeah, this is gonna be the area medium income. So if you're making like $20,000, they're putting you with somebody that's making $300,000. It makes no sense. They're not stupid. Then it's not just in Newark. These people that went to all these Ivy League schools, these politicians that are so smart with all these degrees, these doctors. All of them, doctors, masters. They don't understand that you can put somebody making $13,000, $15,000 with somebody that's making six figures. That you can't equate their income together to create how much they should be paying for rent. They're not smart enough. So you're going to stand there and try to talk to them and convince them the error in their ways. Because you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what's going on. You didn't read Frantz Fanon. You didn't understand what he was telling you. That these people are not here to talk to you, negotiate with you. Their existence is dependent on your exploitation.
The natives' challenge to the colonial world is not a rational confrontation of points of view. It is not a treatise on the universal, but the untidy affirmation of an original idea propounded as an absolute. The colonial world is a Venetian world. It is not enough for the settler to delimit physically, that is to say, with the help of the army and the police force, the place of the native, as if to show the totalitarian character of the colonial exploitation. The settler paints the native as a sort of quintessence of evil. Native society is not simply described as a society lacking in values. It is not enough for the colonists to affirm that those values have disappeared from, or still better, never existed in the colonial world. The native is declared insensible to ethics. He represents not only the absence of values, but also the negation of values. He is, let us dare to admit, the enemy of values. And in this sense, he is the absolute evil. He is the corrosive element, destroying all that comes near him. He is the deforming element, disfiguring all that has to do with beauty or morality. He is the depository of maleficent powers, the unconscious and irretrievable instruments of blind forces. Monsieur Meyer could thus state seriously in the French National Assembly that the Republic must not be prostituted by allowing the Algerian people to become part of it. All values, in fact, are irrevocably poisoned and diseased as soon as they are allowed in contact with the colonized race. The customs of the colonized people, their traditions, their myths, above all their myths, are the very sign of that poverty of spirit and of their constitutional depravity. That is why we must put the DDT, which destroys parasites, the bearers of disease, on the same level as the Christian religion, which wages war on embryonic heresies and instincts and on evil as yet unborn. The recession of yellow fever and the advance of evangelization form part of the same balance sheet, but the triumphant communiques from the missions are in fact a source of information concerning the implantation.
Right there. This is what they're explaining to you. He's explaining what the church's duty was in these colonies. When they went in these colonies, what the mission of the churches were. They went in there to give information. This way what political operatives, spies that came in there with Bibles, say they were coming in there to try to civilize the people. They're explaining to you, he's explaining. He's reading from Monsieur something that was reading over in France, that was in the whatever, in the state house, giving some speech, and he's talking about the mission of the churches while they're in Algeria.
Of foreign influences in the core of the colonized people. I speak of the Christian religion, and no one need be astonished. The church in the colonies is the white people's church, the foreigner's church. She does not call the native to God's ways, but to the ways of the white man, of the master, of the oppressor. And as we know, in this matter, many are called, but few chosen.
All power to the people. Now that's this section right here of Friends for Nine. We just did for 17 minutes for today, but you could hear what he's talking about right from the beginning. Right, it's crazy. I read this. I read a couple of his books, but another book that I read of his is Black Skin, White Mask, and I think this is in the preface before you even start. Like he be hitting me like right from the beginning. He said he don't even know why he's writing the book, because the people that he's writing the book for not even going to read it, which is the masses of the people. Because to them, like he said earlier, all they're interested in is money, money, money. They lust. They want to be entrepreneurs. They're not trying to take over the whole system. They want to be the capitalist. I mean, so he said right from the beginning in Black Skin, White Mask, he said the people he's writing the book for not even going to read it. And that's what be like. I got that in my mind too when I be wanting to write too. Like the people that I'm writing this for, the people in the hood, they're not even interested in reading about politics. So what am I going to take all this time from all the other things I have to do to sit down and focus on really writing this? Because if I'm going to focus on writing a book, I'm trying to write the best book that has ever been written. To put all that energy towards that, and I know the people that I'm writing it for are not going to read it, because the middle class people, by and large, if they read it, they're going to try to turn it into something else to justify them being in the position they're in as gatekeepers. The people I really need to read and hear what I'm saying is the people that's tired of this, that's done, that say like I'm ready to find another option, that are done with this system, but it's starting to make them crazy because they cannot cope with just getting up every day, going to go work just to pay bills. You are at your wit's end and you don't know what else you're going to do. Those are the people to understand why it's not your fault. What you're going through is not your fault. You didn't create any of it. I mean, understand how to defeat them. These are the people I want to reach. So if we talk about, what's up?
I think you should write that book because even though like Nan said, the people not going to read it, but revolutionaries are going to read it. That's a revolutionary Bible. So it's important for us to have literature, whether the masses of the people read it or not. Because the people that do read it and take it in, like us, like other revolutionary organizations, they are out there on the streets trying to make that change. So it's important for the people to have these books out there. And I can't wait for you to write yours.
All power to the people. Thank you. Or whatever. You know, you always did. Like anyway, but thank you. But I understand what you're saying. I mean, but if we go into modern times right now, and we talking about politics, who is the number one person, not conservative, like let's say on the liberal side? What is the political the face of politics? Who is the face of politics? If you say the number one politician in the country right now, the most famous politician in the country right now, who would you name? Somebody throw a name out there. Most famous politician in the last 20, 30.
You talking about not actively in office? It could be anybody not actively in office.
Yeah, not actively in office. Yeah, who is the most famous politician?
Probably Obama.
Thank you. There you go, right here. I mean, and I want us to listen to his political ideology, where he's coming from, his solution, and then juxtapose that what we just heard from Fanon. I'm about to play him. We're going to start here.
For folks who come to visit, the first thing they'll actually see is in the museum is the copy of the Declaration of Independence and a pretty long description and displays of the struggle to realize that ideal that's embodied in the Declaration. But hopefully what they'll also see, even when the exhibits are about my presidency, that there were people who disagreed with what I did. That there was a lot of unfinished business in my presidency.
And you talk about that.
Yeah. And that
right from the beginning, there's a contradiction. There's a contradiction between what he's saying and what Fanon is saying. Right from the beginning, he's telling you the Declaration of Independence, the policies, the ideas that they brought. That is what everything he's about is based on. Even though from real evidence, from real historical data, these people, what they call them, the founding fathers, these people were criminals, were slaveholders. Even though it said like these people came in and they said only a certain people were free, were human beings. They wrote that, they put that into words. These are the people that can have property, that can vote. Even though these people oppress the lives of the masses of the people. To him, when you walk into his museum, his mausoleum, whatever they've created for him, as the head Uncle Tom, the head sellout. With these corporations, the people that gave him all that money to build it. The lies that they tell us, this fake reality that they have in front of us, that is what he is upholding. That is what he is the face for. He is the face of white supremacy. He is the face of imperialism. And he said as soon as you walk into his presidential museum, whatever, the Declaration of Independence is right there. That's what you're going to see. That this so-called geniuses came up with. I'm a historian by trade. I always say that because I understand and I know stuff that most people don't understand. That everything that they put into paper, that they wrote in the Declaration of Independence, other people had it in their own, all around the world, had it in their own declarations of freedom. That it wasn't new, that these people stole. They stole from other people, other ideas from other people. And why they stole these ideas? Because revolution. The people standing up, the people getting tired of the society, the way the society was constructed. It was happening all over the world. You had the Russian Revolution. You had everything, the Russian Revolution. People all over. I'm talking not even before that. The what they call it, the Dark Ages. When the people were fighting against monarchies. This is before like the invention of modern day capitalism. When the people were rising up. There were people, there were other organizations, other wealthy oligarchs, rich people that try to convince the masses of the people, this is gonna be a new day. You're not gonna be ruled by kings and queens. You're gonna be ruled. You're not even gonna be ruled. You're gonna be allowed to be part of the system. You're gonna get opportunities to vote.
these other guild masters that were outside of the nobility class, and they wanted in on the new emerging capitalist system. And then, of course, the so-called discovery of new land out west from Europe just sped up the process, especially after the Crusades. But yeah, right on point. That's exactly what it was. It was an outside class of people who weren't part of the king's nobility class, and that's the old medieval system. And they established their own system, and they would rouse up the peasants and other people within their class who might be hesitant and work very hard to do it. And
it took hundreds of years, Rodrigo. They didn't just wake up one day and everybody the world just changed from monarchy to a capitalist system. It took years of them trying to sabotage the monarchs until they got rid of feudalism and brought about the reality we have now. And then you got George Washington and them coming later, because they're a new empire. They're after the British Empire. After all of them. They knew they're just coming around here, and they plagiarizing from what all these different people around the world wrote to try to convince the masses of the people that this system of rich people that's going to govern your life is going to be different from the other system of feudalism. This is the tricks that they play on the people. And this goofy is talking about, as soon as you walk in, you see the Declaration of Independence, the lies that they tell themselves. So you know from the beginning, you know where he's coming from. You know what side he's on. What side is he on? Is he on the side of the people, or is he on the side of the settlers? Because he's telling you right from the back, the ideas of the settlers, the mandate, the stuff that the settlers are saying, this is what you see as soon as you walk in my mausoleum. Where revolution go to die, where activism go to die. I pressed the wrong button, but here.
You are America, unconstrained by habit and convention, unencumbered by what is, because you're ready to seize what ought to be. I've often said that may not be my very best speech, but it is most representative of what I believe. It captures my politics as well as anything.
And what was his politics in that? What was his politics in what he just said? I'm going to bring it back. Tell me his politics, his solution to him explaining our condition, what's going on. What is you are America? Is that is his politics? What else you said?
Unconstrained by habit.
And you are America, unconstrained by habit. Where is the politics there? What is he talking about?
Unencumbered by what is, because you're ready to seize what ought to be.
How are you seizing anything? We have the data. The people have no power. Nothing that they want, no policy that the people want is ever passed. What power are they seizing? He's just using rhetoric, just saying words to make you feel good about yourself. You're ready to seize power. What power are you seizing? You can't even control your local politicians. You go to the council meeting, if you don't talk the way they want you to talk, they'll call the police to take your retarded, excuse me, you can't use the R word no more, to drag you up out of there. You have no power. So what are you saying, Barack? He's just saying words that mean absolutely nothing.
I've often said that may not be my very best speech, but it is most representative of what I believe. It captures my politics as well as anything. And it's been pretty consistent. This belief in an American story that begins with these amazing words, this declaration that we are created equal and endowed with certain inalienable rights, but it was imperfect, and then we struggled to make that ideal real. And
so let's talk about that. So he said the declaration was imperfect. When these people, when these slave owners put this declaration together, when they wrote all this stuff, it was imperfect. They were good people, even though they had slaves. Even though they wrote stuff in there to keep power amongst themselves. That this document was here to basically conceal and hide their true purposes. Barack Obama is saying that they made their inconsistency. It was mistakes in there. That's why they didn't meet their full potential. Yo, who agrees with that? Is that what Fanon is saying? Fanon is saying they're coming in here to take everything because their existence depends on exploiting you. Is that what Obama's saying? Is Obama saying the same thing as Fanon? Because if you want to look at who to follow, the ideology to follow, we just listened to Fanon just now. Did Fanon sound like that? That the settlers, the ideas they have, that they're coming in here to bring ideas to change your world, to make your life better. And there's some inconsistencies here and there. That's what Barack is saying. That's what's going to be in his museum that he built.
That is
1 second, Chairman.
Go ahead.
And to minimize it to mistakes or inconsistency is, I just find diabolical. We need to find another word besides diabolical, because like mistakes and inconsistencies, you can correct it. We're like, what is it? America's 250th birthday, and we're still dealing with the mistakes and inconsistencies.
We real slow. We need to be in special ed then.
With a different idea of America that is based on caste and privilege and excluding people and dominating people. And
by the way, he's saying there's a different way of thinking. He said, like, this is not the American way. That this is not how America has functioned from the beginning. Yo, let me bring this back a little bit, because it's important to listen to him, to listen to what he's saying, not just talk about people. Listen to what they're saying. Let me bring this back. What do you say?
And those
no.
And excluding people stood in opposition with a different, that has always stood in opposition.
Okay, so the Declaration of Independence have always stood in opposition with other people. Like this other people he's talking about now is people like Donald Trump. He's saying the Declaration, the people, the founders, the ideas, the America that they wanted to put together, that they put together, stand in contrast from this, what he about to explain. Let me know, if you want to, let me know if this is not what America has always been.
With a different idea of America that is based on caste and privilege and excluding people.
When has America not been that? When has America has ever been the laws they put in the Declaration? Give me 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in the 250 years where America has been anything other than what? What you just call it, Obama? Obese?
Based on caste.
Caste.
And privilege.
Privilege.
And excluding people.
Excluding people. When has America ever been anything other than that? That's what I would ask somebody that's MAGA, somebody that's conservative, even somebody that's a Democrat, that's a liberal. When has America ever been anything other than that? And anybody that's here, there's a few people here. If anybody want to disagree, they want to say something, let me know, when has America been anything other than caste? What do you say? Now tell them again, Obama. Tell them again, Obese.
And excluding people in opposition with a different idea of America that is based on caste and privilege and excluding people.
Caste, privilege, and excluding people. When has America, anybody here can tell me, when has America been anything but that?
And dominating people. And those two contrasting stories about America.
What two contrasting stories? You mean the lie that it's supposed to be and what it really is? That is not two contrasting stories. That's why people like me despise somebody like an Obama. Because I listen to Frantz Fanon, tells me that the settlers are foreigners. There's nothing to negotiate or talk about. It's either we going to survive or they going to survive. And the way they survive is by leeching and taking from us. Predatory democracy. preying on us, doubling the rent, doubling, like they say gas. Gas is doubling because the companies have to pay more for gas. You turn around and look, the companies are making more money than they ever made before. Because it's all lies. They're here to steal. And this is legalized theft. But he's sitting here telling us there's a different America that we have never seen. Never. Obama wouldn't debate me. He wouldn't sit anywhere and debate me. Because I would put holes in.
But he's right, ain't he? I'm saying he's not wrong. He's just not talking to you or me. There is two Americas. I think when the founding fathers set out to create that document that's a lie to many, it was the truth to some of it, right? It's always been the truth to like the top 10%. This conversation always goes back for me to Miseducation of a Negro, where he says Harvard growing more Negroes than whiskey. You know, like the higher education you get, the more indoctrinated you become. And for Obama, this has been true to Obama. Right, mother came from Kansas. Grandmother worked at a bank in Hawaii. Mother went to Harvard. Dad went to Harvard. Right, I don't think Obama was marginalized at all. Right, except for whatever his black skin wouldn't allow him to be able to do. But we see what he did allow him to be able to do.
Hey,
I always think like,
hold on. Let's go back. You said he's not talking to us. Yo, that's
not talking to us.
I keep forgetting that, bruh. I keep forgetting. He's not talking to us. He's talking to the other bougie sellouts.
He's talking to Barron Trump, right? That's the youngest Trump son. Like he's talking to the crackhead Biden, Hunter Biden. He's talking to everybody in Newark who has season tickets to Seton Hall games and New Jersey Devil games, who have, a home and a vacation home. He's just not talking to us. Remember his slogan for his first campaign run was the audacity of hope. That's still what he's talking to. It's just not us.
No, that's deep. No, that's deep. And I be forgetting that when I hear these people talking, that they're not talking to us. I fall into the trap of everybody else. Because when everybody else hear it, they think like they're talking to us. Yo, he's not talking to me. He would never talk to me.
I want to say that he is not to be a contrarian or go against your point. I want to say he is talking to us, but he's not talking for us, and he's talking for them. But he's talking to, you know how people talk to you?
No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I get it. Because he knows me.
That's the hope part, though, right? That's the hope. To those who've lived that experience, it's inspiration to continue to strive and get more of that life. But those who will never be there, it's just hope. I mean, we do the same thing sometimes, right? You may tell somebody at a time you went to Vegas and played in the tournament. To those who ain't never really hooped, you telling them a story. But to those who can probably achieve that, it's inspiration. They see it.
I got you. Obese be dropping them BS. There I go again. Look at what I done did.
You are America. And those two contrasting stories about America, a lot of my speeches, a lot of my politics has been arguing this is the better story. And so I think it may seem as if right now, I
want to pause this. Look how she's looking at him. Like he's saying something real profound. This is who they got to go interview him. You're nobody with a brain, no revolutionary, no real journalist would be sitting across from a warmonger, somebody that killed people, blew up, killed presidents. Because of Barack Obama, when he was in power, they stuck a knife in Gaddafi's rectum, and they killed him. He dropped bombs on Africa. All our homes that he gave away to corporations, that he let the banks steal and bailed out all the banks. Look, she's sitting next to him and looking at him in admiration. What do you admire about him? Look, these are the people that they get to interview them, and they call these people journalists. And when Trump says something about her, calls her a nigger or something, I'm supposed to feel bad because Trump is talking about her because she's a black woman. They try to use that blackness, that black woman. Look at her. How could you be looking at a sociopath like that? These are the people that give credibility to this. And that's why she has that job. She doesn't have that job. She's not interviewing him because she's the smartest journalist they have. She wants to live in them fancy houses. She's who Fanon was talking about. Want to sleep in their beds, sleep with their wives. Envious. That's why she got that face. There's nothing to admire about Obama. When he came into power, black people lost the most they ever lost. The most loss of black wealth came under his presidency. He did nothing. Nothing for black people. Why are you looking at him like that? When I watched this, that was troubling to me. Because these are the phony people that I see in the city, at City Hall, at school board meetings, the teachers in the community. All these people that are frauds and fake. And they justify this behavior. They justify the behavior of the politicians in the community because they're getting something from them. She's an actor. There's no way she can find him that admirable.
And so I think it may seem as if right now it's that part of America. It's that part of America that that says that black people don't belong, or that says that women need to be in their place, and gay folks need to be in the closet, and poor people need to stop complaining because a handful of people are the ones who are creating the wealth, and they deserve to keep it. And we don't.
That is how the society has functioned. If you look at the data, all the money, all the surplus, everything goes to those people that believe that. That goes to the wealthy, the rich, everything, all the policies. What other America is he talking about? This is the only America we know. These are the people that's always been in power.
We need to take care of the vulnerable, and we don't need to make public investments in our kids. That story's always been there. And I think sometimes we get confused in thinking that these two stories are completely separate. They're intertwined, right? And which is why it's possible.
Of course.
Go ahead, what?
Of course, the oppressor and the oppressed story is intertwined. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
They're not oppressing themselves. The funny thing is about this is, like, you alluded to something, right? And we have kind of became conditioned to this, and a lot of times numb to it and don't even see it. They call this journalism. Right? This man gets to sit up here and talk about whether the fucking president of the United States.
You fading out. You fading out.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit better.
No, I'm saying, like, this. Let me walk back out towards the window. This guy gets to sit up here and talk to this lady like he's not, like he wasn't the president of the United States of America. He's having a conversation as if he's just you and me, as if he's like Dr. Eddie Glaude or something, right? He's a professor. No, you was a policymaker. You was an executive. And she's sitting there listening to him like it's story time at the library.
Yeah.
He hasn't brought up one policy of his that contradicts what he says. See, his actions contradict his narrative. This isn't journalism. What happened to the days where they would push back? Right? I love the Farrakhan interview when he tried to say, I think it was something about Libya or some country. And, Farrakhan had to, like, push it back down his throat. She's just sitting there in aspirations, like, wagging her head. And I don't think that's because she's disingenuous. I think there's, like, how do I say this? Illiterate innocence to her, to where she actually believes this, right? she's dumbfounded like a child, or like I was if I would have seen Charles Barkley in 1997, right? Not understanding how ignorant and problematic this person really is because I've seen him as an idol, right? That's how she's looking at him. She can't even do her job right. You ever been in front of like an absolutely like gorgeous woman and it just knocked you for a minute and you just like taken aback for a while, like, God, my marbles. I lost my marbles for a little bit, right? I remember I was giving this speech and like, man, this lady was so cold. She asked a question and I was like shocked for a minute. I had to like catch myself, right? That's how she is.
Yeah.
That's how she is right now. Like, oh, this is Barack Obama. And
mesmerized.
There's another part to this. If she was to do her due diligence and ask her questions, she would not just get this interview no more. She would lose her job. So this is just circus. This is just political circus.
No, you're right. You're right. Nobody sitting there will be somebody that will ask him a real question. That is why all of this is a facade. She's supposed to be a journalist sitting there, like supposed to give this credibility, this interview, and she's just a groupie.
To be a great admirer of George Washington and also acknowledge he was a slaveholder. And that does not negate his greatness. It simply acknowledges that there's a profound, deep flaw in these founding fathers who were also geniuses and gave us these tools. And
what
Chairman.
What tools did they give us? Yo, how do you dismiss having slaves? Yo, these people had slaves. They made human beings less than other. Yo, these are worse than rapists. And you're saying, like, you're going to come to me and be like, yeah, they were rapists. They raped people. But you know what? They were geniuses. So we excuse that. This is how people become comfortable with dehumanization. This is what he's doing. He is dismissing our legacy. And so what? They had slaves, but they were geniuses. They gave us the system, the shitty system, the system that still got you as a wage slave. They're so smart, but geniuses for who? He's not talking about us. Geniuses for the people that are in power, for them, for their class of people, for them to be able to live where they are. I mean, go ahead, General Secretary.
No, I was just going to echo what you just said. Like, it was just so, like, he just went past that George Washington was a slave. And they're not worse than rapists. When I think of slavery, that includes all of that. They raped, they murdered, they took children from their families. Even if that slave owner, that particular slave owner himself was not a rapist, slavery was rape. You took away a group of people's humanity. That is rape, no matter what kind of context you want to put it in. And for him just to make it seem like, oh, they were slaves, like, yo, everybody needs to see this and see Obama for what he is, and all these people like Obama. And y'all need to stop celebrating these people. You need to, like, I guess for now said, we're going to get to a point where, like, as soon as we see these people, we're sharpening our knives. There's no ambiguity. There's no, oh, I don't know. These are the enemy, and they're out to kill you. They're out to murder you. They're out to rape you. Like, there's nothing nice about this.
Yo, this is how you accept a genocide. This is how you rationalize a genocide. The brutalization of killing people, killing children, babies. This is how you rationalize and accept it. This is what Kamala Harris did. This is how you put people on death row. You refuse to let them out because you think like this. You rationalize like this. Nothing that happens to us means anything. We are nothing. We are nothing that the system has any bounds of respect. We have nothing. We are nothing to these people. You can make us slaves. You can keep us slaves, but he's smart. These are the people you're dealing with. Sociopaths. How do you dismiss slavery as a black person? How do you sit there and dismiss it? And that's what he just did. Yes, he had slaves. Yo, George Washington, I believe, had the teeth of the slaves in his mouth. took their teeth and made teeth for himself and put it in his mouth. These are the people. These are his heroes. My heroes are Fanon, George Jackson, Malcolm X. These are his heroes, Nat Turner. These are my heroes. These are the people that he look at as geniuses. This is Obama.
Which is true of all of us, right?
But it's not true of all of us.
Oh,
presidents, yeah.
We're this mixed bag. We got contradictions.
We're this mixed bag. Your contradictions tell that you're a fraud. Because if you were not a fraud, you wouldn't have contradictions. You can't say all people are human beings, they're equal, endowed by by rights. And then you make them slaves. That is not a contradiction. You're a liar and a scammer, a fraud. That's what you are. These are not contradictions, bruh.
And embody the country's contradictions. And so...
and embodies the country's lies. That is what they do. They embody the country's lies.
I do think that what's striking is right now we've got a president in the White House who seems to have embraced and embodied, in a way we haven't seen in a very long time, this other story. Mm-hmm.
So he has embraced this other story. He's not lying like you. He's not coming out and saying all the flowery stuff you saying. He's not coming out locking people up. Because if you don't know, Obama deported more people than Trump has till this date, till this point in time. Obama deported more people. You see, he didn't do it like Trump. You didn't really see it. There wasn't no ice running down. He did it more surgically. And all the addresses, all the information that they have on these people going to court, when they grab them and lock them up for going to court as they should be. Where they get all these addresses from? From him. Obama told them, come out from outside the shadows. Come outside. Come out in the open. Give us your information. We're going to work through a way for you to get legalized. And then as soon as he left office, all that information is already on the data. So instead
and then he didn't even legalize them.
They didn't legalize them. They called him the deporter-in-chief. See, but you wasn't mad about that. You didn't see all of that. You see, but Trump come in. Trump is trying to feed them rabid conservatives. So he's giving them what they want. Them rabid conservatives want to see families ripped apart, want to see people kicking and screaming. You see, he's giving them that, but he's not giving them the excellence of Obama. the surgical precision of Obama in removing these people. He ain't giving them that. He's just giving it to them raw. No KY, nothing, just raw. Just coming in. I'm just busting through. That's what Trump is doing. And he said we haven't seen in a while. No, you haven't seen. They've been lying. Since what? Since Bush won, they've been lying. After Reagan, because when Reagan, like they was here, they was telling you, Reagan, Nixon, these people was letting you know what it was. Then you got Bush come in, you got Clinton coming, they lying, they playing saxophone, they call him the first black president. I mean, you got Bush coming in, talking about, they're going to spread America, democracy around the world. They're all lying. They're not telling you what they're really doing. They're like the ICE. You know how the ICE wear the mask, and they say they're coming in to do legal job, like get rid of the criminals. They're lying. That whole institution is a lie. The whole institution of the presidency is a lie. All these people are liars. They work for other rich people that use them as the face to convince you to give credibility to this system. Sociopaths.
And maybe
does that make your story more important?
I don't know if it makes it more important, but I am glad that we are planting a flag.
What flag are you planting? What flag are you planting by telling people to go back to the Declaration of Independence when people are fighting for liberation all around the world? They're telling people to go back to the Declaration of Independence. What Uncle Tom flag are you implanting? Huh? What Malcolm said? House nigga, field nigga. What is he? What is he? Is he a house nigga or is he a field nigga?
People are the ones who are creating the wealth, and they deserve to keep it. And we don't need to take care of the vulnerable, and we don't need to make public investments in our kids. That story's always been there. And I think sometimes we get confused in thinking that these two stories are...
They have played this already.
True of every president. It's that what's striking is, right now, we've got a president in the White House.
Yeah, we heard this part already.
Seems to... I am glad that we are planting a flag.
There we go.
That we are hopefully creating a repository, a vessel through which people can be reminded of this better story. I think ultimately...
You hear that? They're creating a mausoleum where people can be reminded of this better story, where people could be lied to about this better story that America was never. That is what he's doing. He's telling you. I'm listening to him in his own words. Yo, his mausoleum is there so people can be told this story that has never existed. This is the leadership. This is black leadership right now. This is what black people look to. Yo, I see people posting about this coward all the time, about this fraud all the time. This is what to people, to the masses of the people. This is what they've influenced them, and they've brainwashed them to think is black excellence. This treachery is black excellence. They're there to plant the flag, to let black people know the black boy that died on that boat, the black child, that baby that was shot by the police, all the people that are going through, the black people that they're lynching, all the people that's suffering, that's being gentrified out of their communities, that these politicians have passed laws to remove. Prison, school to prison pipeline. He's here to remind us of this better story of the Declaration of Independence, of the lives we've never seen. This is what Obama is here to do, and he just told you that. That's what that mausoleum is there for.
A museum,
mausoleum,
a presidential center, even one that is, engaging in ongoing work. Doesn't replace actual activism. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. The best reminder of our best story is what happened in your hometown in Minneapolis.
And listen to him. All of that does not replace activism. His mausoleum, all that stuff. Then why are you not doing activism, Barack? When all of this stuff, if all that stuff does not replace what's going on in our community, what's going on in Minnesota, let him finish that thought right there. Because everything he's doing, it's not what we need in the communities. And that's what he's saying right now.
A while back of neighbors looking after neighbors. The best reminder is when you see folks around the country who are looking out for each other and fighting the good fight to, make sure that people have health care, make sure that opportunity is fairly shared.
So who are those people fighting those good fights? It ain't no politicians making sure people fed. It's a whole bunch of people out here that's going out with food, going into community, got clothes. We got programs that we came up with. And who are the people that we fighting to implement this program, to put them in? It's the politicians like him. Who did we fight against charter schools? It was him in our communities. He said that's where the real activists at. That's where we at. That's where the Panthers at, in the communities, doing this work. And who are we doing this work against? Who are the people that we trying to do all of this against? Is it not the politicians, the Democrats in all our communities? Is it not the Democrats that are in control of the schools, that are in control of the police, control of the corporations, control of the slumlords? Who are the people that we fighting against? Who are the people that send the horses, that send the state troopers down to Delaney Hall to beat up protesters? It wasn't Democrats? Who are we fighting against? Because he's talking about doesn't replace the activists. That's us, the revolutionaries. That's us fighting against the system that they're upholding.
Maybe a way to think about the presidential center and what at least we tried to create is some touchstones, some markers, some tools for people to just be reminded of. Oh yeah, This is what our democracy is. This.
So his museum is not there to do nothing for black people. It's there to remind you what this is the democracy that they lied about, that it's supposed to be. So it's not there to do nothing. It's not there to do no activism. It's not there to be pro-black, do anything for black people. It's just there to remind you of the Declaration of Independence. This is your hero. This is the Obama that people celebrate. What has he said so far we've been listening? That has been for the people, for the masses of the people, not just pro-black, but just the people. What has he said? Absolutely nothing.
This is who we are.
The idea of these two stories is interesting because America has been having an argument with itself.
Right.
We say one thing in our founding documents. We do something quite different in the way that we construct society.
Right.
And
who is we? We don't do nothing. We have no power to construct nothing. We're not having an argument amongst nobody. The people that have been in power, that have been controlling America, is whole 250-something years and a couple of days now. Those people are not in argument with nothing. They have been exactly what he said they were. Class, whatever the things he said. What they have done to the people, a caste system. This is how they have governed, brutalized the people. This is the only story that has ever been. There's no other story. There's no other period where the people lived any different other than what the suffering, the oppression, the exploitation that we've been dealing with. Never. What other two stories are they talking about? And then when somebody watches this at home that doesn't know any better, they start hearing this two-story and they start regurgitating this goofy two-story nonsense. What two-story? I've only known one story of America.
The argument that you're talking about and the stories that you're talking about, the exclusion of people of color, the exclusion of black people, the exclusion of women, the Chinese Exclusion Act.
Yeah.
That's the American way.
They're things that we know are true to the American story, but they don't always appear in presidential libraries.
Yeah.
Presidential libraries are usually shrines to a think.
So because he's putting stuff in the presidential library about the suffering of people out here, like that is what is impressing her. These are the questions that she has for him. Like you got time to sit down with Obama to ask him questions. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? To me, she is just as bad as a cop. She's just as bad as any worst part of this society. I mean, she's a fraud. It doesn't matter if she's black, she's a woman, and she got on a purple man suit, whatever suit they call it. It is what it is. She's a fraud. She's here to confuse you. She's here to maintain the illusion.
Single man or a single administration, men, because all of our presidents have been men so far. You decided to travel a different path. You decided to tell a different story in a different way so that you lean into that sort of thorny terrain around the founding contradictions.
Right.
What was the thought process that led you there? And was there anyone that pushed back and tried to say, maybe we want to do this in a more traditional way? Because that is unusual.
Well, for folks who come to...
They wasn't talking about nothing really.
A live, dynamic place for the south side of Chicago and the city of Chicago for kids in the neighborhood, that it was going to be used. And that, I think, more than anything, shaped how we thought about what this thing would end up being.
He already told you it's not there for no activists, for no revolution. It's not there for any of that. But he's telling you that it's there now for the kids, to remind them about the Declaration of Independence. This is our children. That's what it's there for, to remind them. Listen to what it's there for.
I think about kids in the neighborhood. You met with a group of young black men.
Yeah.
You were seated in a circle in room 208 of Hyde Park Academy, right across the street from the campus now. And it was an extraordinary conversation. You were very honest with them.
Right.
You talked about making the kind of boneheaded decisions that a lot of teenagers make.
Right.
You talked to them about experimenting with drugs. And it was so unusual that one of the kids said, "Wait, are you talking about yourself?"
Yeah.
And out of that meeting, we know that the My Brother's Keeper initiative was one of the things that grew out of that meeting, because later that year you announced that.
Right.
But I wonder if that meeting has lived on inside you in other ways? Because it happened right across the street from where you decided to build the campus. Did that animate how you thought about the location, the design, the programming, the young people who live in an area that doesn't see this kind of shine and attention?
Well, all right, so let me give you a little visualization. So let's say they go get kids in the community to go be in a room with Obama. They're not getting all the kids in the community to go. They're not just picking out kids. They're gonna go through the fake nonprofit organization that organizations like whatever My Brother's Promise that they send money to other Uncle Toms that's in their orbit, because they don't send money to all organizations. They send them to their organization for them to have certain kids that they're going to groom to be Uncle Toms. So they bring these kids and they sit them in a room because they've already checked them out. Their families is Uncle Toms too, their parents Uncle Toms, and they bring them in there and they go have a conversation with Obama. Let me see where I'm at right here before I come back. 125. And they come back. So when they go in that space, so what kind of conversations would they have in that space? Let me show you how the conversation usually go. This is how the conversation will go when they're sitting down. You bring this black young man in there for Obama to speak to them. This is the type of stuff that he would say to them.
The same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now,
Then you didn't see the energy in our communities that you saw for him when he was running in 2008. You ain't see that same energy. He's saying in all our communities. You're not seeing that energy for Kamala Harris. It's not that she had people on death row. She sent black people illegally to jail. She did not persecute any of the rich people when she was Attorney General, or like a genocide, supporting genocide with the Biden administration that came in and was hunting down immigrants too. Yo, there's a picture of horses, people on horses, police people on horses, whipping immigrants at the border. There's a picture of that. That's during the Biden time. All of those are not reasons. Her lying, her being not qualified. All of those are not reason for black people saying, no, we're not going to vote for Kamala Harris. We don't believe her. She's a cop. All of those are not reason. The only reason why these black men don't want to vote for her is because she's a woman. This is what the smart, Harvard-educated ex-president, this is his analysis of why black people don't support Kamala Harris. Even though she didn't have an open primary where other people could try to get in, even though they tried to set the deck for her, none of all of that stuff mattered. The only thing that it could be is that black people just don't like black women. They don't support black women. Go ahead, tell them, OBZ.
I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
The brothers.
When you have a choice,
it's not anybody else. The brothers. I think the ones that voted the highest for her anyway. The ones that vote, the brothers are the ones that vote the highest for the Democrats. The brothers. No, white women don't vote for them. Spanish people don't vote for them. White men don't vote for the Democrats. They don't show up for Kamala. If you go back and look at the election, the exit polls, black men voted on the higher cap than anybody else. But he's saying, especially black men, we are the problem. Here, Obama, tell them.
A choice that is this clear. When on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like me.
Kamala Harris didn't grow up like me. She didn't grow up in Newark, New Jersey. She didn't grow up in the worst hoods in the state. Kamala Harris did not grow up with me. She didn't go to prison with me. Kamala Harris wasn't drinking this lead water in the hood with me. So that's a lie from the beginning, bruh. Kamala Harris is not like me. Yo, Kamala Harris is married to a white Jewish whatever. She has Jewish kids. She don't even have a black family. Kamala Harris is not like me. She's not a revolutionary. She doesn't believe in Pantherism. She's not a communist. She's nothing like me. She's nothing like the people that I grew up with. She's nothing like them.
Even her material conditions is different from about maybe 99% of the black people I know. What's the first time you got on a plane to like go out? You from Africa, like you was born here, but your parents took you to Africa. Like,
Yeah.
So most black people I knew was not catching international flights as a child. They hadn't even been on a plane to catch domestic flights. Most black people in America, when they went on a vacation, they got in a station wagon and went south, right? Kamala Harris was going to India, and she was going to Jamaica, right? Most black people I knew, their grandmother provided daycare.
I think Hawaii too. She lived.
No. Once she got to high school, she grew up in Montreal, so she went to a Montreal high school. Like the most affluent high school in Montreal. But her whole lived experience is different. And this isn't to, like, denigrate her or anything. This is just to say she's different, right? Her parents were two professionals, right? One was a college professor and the other one was a scientist, right? Her grandmother didn't watch her. She said, Nana. Nana ended up being some black lady that they hired to watch her. We didn't have hired help. And I'm damn sure not about to, like, come on. So, like, even if you just bear it all the way down, her lived experience was extremely different, meaning she would have had to come talk to the people to know what it's like to grow up amongst the people.
Exactly.
Just because you grew up in Berkeley, close to Oakland, but you didn't live in Oakland, now you hired somebody from Oakland, right? So her whole, like, I just hate that we couldn't, during that time, just have a real conversation. Even the people like Mark Lamont Hill and everybody that was defending her, if you would have been able to sit them down and really ask them questions, they would have had to admit that, I didn't have professional parents. I wasn't taking international trips to vacations to go visit family members in other countries back and forth. I didn't grow up in affluent communities outside of America and within America, right? It's just a different experience. And all this could be true and she could still have politics that agree with us. The fact that it didn't made it even so more problematic that you would bring this upon us. And now she's an outsider, like, from her lived experience and her political views. That's why we didn't support her. Not because she's a black woman.
Yo, you see, look at bro behind him. Look at bro over there looking at him. Got his little hands folded. He listens like he really listening to something important. Look at him back there. But let me continue. That's the first one he said. She like us. Knows you. Or he said she knows me. She don't know me. Went to the college with you. Yo, most of the people in my community don't go to college. Most of the people in my community don't go to college. We didn't go to college. I mean, so who are you talking about? She didn't go to college with me. So who are you talking about? Let's keep going.
Understands the struggles.
She understands our struggle. Kamala Harris, yo, everything he's saying is a lie. Because you got to lie. There's no truth you can tell about her. Let's keep going.
Pain.
She understands my struggle and pain. Joy that comes from what? Joy that comes from those experiences? What joy comes from living in the ghetto with mice, with rats, the worst schools, violence, starvation, hunger, always hungry? What Fanon was talking about. What is he talking about? The joy that comes from those experiences from the colonies? That's what the colonies are experiencing. When we're just listening to Frantz Fanon describe the two different zones. Did Fanon say anything about joy from these experiences? What is he talking about? When they say he's just an empty suit, this is what they're talking about. He's saying things that make no sense. He's a liar. He's a professional liar.
He said to work harder and do more and overcome. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And so
and you hear them people in the back? These are all the little latch-ons. The people that went like this when they're having the meeting, when they say they're gonna bring our black youth in and they're gonna have conversations with them. This is what this Uncle Toms are telling them. They're not in there telling them about the people that's exploiting them, exploiting their communities. They're in there blaming us for our condition. Why we are in the condition that we're in, and how we should support one of their own for them to get a better job, to get paid more money.
You're thinking about sitting down or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you?
Not Kamala. Kamala don't have a history of denigrating us. Me? Do something for black people? I'll never do anything for black people. Yo, Google that. That's Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris keeping people, black people, that were innocent on death row, using them to go fight fires and refusing to let them go because it's cheaper for California to use these inmates to fight fires. So we're going to keep them in jail. This is Kamala Harris. They sued her. People sued her for this behavior. But we don't have no reason not to like Kamala. She locked up black parents because she said their kids were not going to school, truancy, going to Uncle Tom white supremacist schools because the kids in the community were not going to the schools. They rejected the schools. She went out and locked up the parents. In fact, she locked up one parent that her daughter had sickle cell anemia, and so she had to keep missing school, to keep going to the doctor. They came in and locked the mother up for that. She sued too. She was all over the media. But we have no reason not to like Kamala. We just don't like her because she's a woman.
Sharon Peoples, that's her name.
What's her name again?
Sharon Peoples, I believe. We interviewed her, and she said they made her do a perp walk. Her daughter was in and out the hospital, and then from that situation, she lost her job, and things went straight to hell. She could never get back in contact with Kamala Harris' office. It was all just to do the perp walk and make it seem like her program was really effective. And she used a black woman. She ruined a black woman's life and her black daughter's life to prove a political point. And they want to know why we don't support her as a black woman.
I mean, but they know why we don't support her. But like you're saying, this stuff is not for us. This is for the people that don't have to deal with this. Because there's a class of black people.
You got black women who was on there pretty much saying, come out, and they believe it to be true. Kamala Harris' life matters, so we should get behind her and support her. Sharon Peoples and her daughter's life don't matter. So obviously all black women's life don't matter. Since they wanted to make it a black woman thing, when it came to her, it was like, well, she just got caught up in the system. It is what it is. But let's focus on the main thing, right? So that goes back to that class struggle you were talking about, because all black women's lives didn't matter in that situation.
No.
Only the fluent ones was who had access to whiteness.
Yes. No, all their lives didn't matter. In what community is she going to enforce these policies? These are the policies she put in. Lock people up for weed. This is what she was doing. And then when they interview her, she's laughing about smoking weed. This is what she did, yes.
Yes. Just want to chime in. Hi, Patience and Brother Africa. To me, when I begin to think about Kamala Harris, I think they didn't want, they wanted Trump to win. Because I said from day one, if Hillary couldn't win, Hillary Rodham Clinton, who was a white woman, couldn't win, what made them think that Kamala Harris would win? I mean, they kept, she was a member of a black sorority, the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, Alpha sorority, and that they tried to think that would solidify her blackness. But a lot of women were saying that she wants to be black, she wants to be Indian or whatever. I knew from day one that woman was going to win. I mean, Barack wasn't behind Kamala. Oh, no. And Joe Biden didn't like Kamala either. So I don't know I think the person who was going to be her VP would have beat Trump. Any white man could have beat Trump. And I don't know why they put this black woman. To me, it was dead on arrival. DOA, that they wanted it to fail. It's because there's no way America was going to be accepting of a black African woman.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Shoot. Go ahead, sir.
Was it dead on arrival because she was sabotaged by her own political party, or was it dead on arrival because she was just a bad political candidate?
No, she was a black woman, period.
So you don't
like her. Rule America before a white woman. Let's just keep it real and spade, okay? I'm keeping it raw with you, brother. Ain't no way it's gonna happen. When we begin to look at the rights of America here, white women were able to vote. Okay, before who? All right? I think black men had the right to vote before white women, before women's suffrage. Are you serious? They're going to put a black woman up in as a president? I mean, that whole program, that didn't even look right to me day one. Everybody said, oh, Susie, oh, yeah, come on. I said, where the hell did this woman come? Just because she was vice president, that made her, I don't care who she was. If Hillary couldn't win, what made her think? And a black woman? No way. Against a white man? Do you see the optics there? Are you real? That was a joke on joke. And Brad, trust me, I won a lot of bets with that too. Thank you.
Yeah, let me just jump in real quick, because I think that's she's as much black as Obama is, right? Matter of fact, Obama's more black than her, right?
No.
Because
Obama had the white wife, his white mother, and see, America saw that. Oh, a lot. I'm a marketing person. The marketing was going around.
Her dad denounced her. Her dad said, "I don't know that woman. I didn't raise that woman. She was raised by her mother and her Indian side."
It don't matter. She was a black woman.
Trying to connect her. That's what I'm saying. She's as much black as Obama is black.
No, Obama is more interracial. He got a white mother, okay? He has a white mother. Let's keep it spade a spade. And a lot of white men.
So, do you consider Indian people to be black?
I'm sorry, sir?
Do you consider Indian people to be black? Because she was raised by her Indian mother. He was raised by his white mother.
You know, back in the day, if you had 1 inch of black, or you was considered octoroon or whatever. Obama has a white mother, and that's what sold America on him, that he has a white in him. Okay, come on. That's not what they had no white mother.
Okay.
Again, a woman at that. And Trump was right. He said one day she's Indian, one day she's black. What the hell is she? And black women wasn't having that. Obama said he was black, even though they had a mother. So he came out clean. He wasn't saying, "Oh, I'm interracial." You never heard him say that.
Well, I think he just proved my point on that. But my point about her being a bad candidate is that she went on The View, and everybody knows The View is a centrist Democrat talk show. And they was throwing her softball question, and she couldn't. Never mind you, prior to her running this time, Kamala already ran twice and flamed out. The first time I think she had Rodriguez on the West Coast. She had her sister Maya on the East Coast. They couldn't get along with each other. They was arguing. They ran out of money, right? The second time she tried to challenge Biden, and she made those T-shirts, "This little girl was me," and then she ended up being the VP. And before that, she even conceded to say, "Hey, I was just saying that about Biden, but I don't think he was a segregationist. I don't think he was a bad person. I was just having a debate. That was just chuckles for a debate." She goes on The View. The View asked her about her views, her political views. She said, "I'm not Biden." And then Sonny said, "How was the Kamala Harris campaign or presidency different from a Biden campaign?" And she started chuckling. And she said, "I don't know." She was just a bad candidate. I think people just get dispelled because what you said is true. Yeah, a black woman has never been a president, but that don't mean they can't be. We seen it with Obama, right? She had the perfect background for a quote-unquote black person, an Oreo, to become the first black face of America. She had the perfect background. She's married to a Zionist. She grew up in white affluent communities. Her mother comes from a caste system. They was the Brahmin. They was the highest caste of the caste system. So they anti-black just as anybody else. The whole idea is that, I think she's an educated dummy, right? I think she's good at locking black people up. She's good at locking oppressed people up. She wasn't good at speaking. She wasn't good at doing interviews. And she had no political position. She couldn't agree on health care. It was so many things she could not do. Right?
Can I interject? She was not going to win from jump day one against a white man. Okay?
All I'm thinking is she didn't do anything to help her campaign.
It's not in here in America. I don't know what Pete Kool-Aid, like I said, I won a lot of bets with that. She was not going to win. She was not, I don't care what that was the stupidest thing the Democratic organization could do. Like I said, the person who would have been her running mate, her VP would have won. We were working for somebody other than Trump. And you're going to put a black woman up here in front of our faces? Are you serious? White men are not going to vote for that black woman. Now, they voted for Obama because they saw him be a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and he had
Is she not a little bit of this and a little bit of that? Did she not support a genocide? Did she not lock black people up? Did she not use black inmates in California?
We have to moderate the situation right now. There you go. Mr. Ibrahim, I'm about to mute you guys both. 1 second,
wait.
okay?
I just want to end on this point. So it all comes down to having a white mother?
In optics, see, yeah, when you're marketing something, you got to market it to the T. You got it, and this was what they were knocking on doors said. Oh, he's not like the black people. He has a white mother, and then the white people say, oh, he has a white mother. You got to understand how marketing works. I know how it works. Okay. That's how they got him to be president, because he had a white mother. And they showed pictures of him, and people felt, oh, he got some white in him. He can't be all black. So there you have it. Okay. Oh,
I got it. There we got it. There we got it. Let me try to.
1 second, Chairman. Hold that thought. Housekeeping. Please mute yourself, because I'm gonna be muting yours. When one person is speaking, everybody needs to be muted so we can eliminate the feedback. We can't have both people speaking at the same time because it disrupts. We get a lot of feedback. So until that person is done speaking, then you can unmute. And if you can limit your points to 3 minutes or less, that would be great. Go ahead, Chairman.
All power to the people. Now, we don't want you to stop talking. We want communication. We have to have these conversations. We have to talk. But let's try to do it when we can hear it, because both your two people talking at the same time, you can't really hear. But I'm never gonna try to tell nobody not to say what they want to say. I talk all the time. But yeah, let me put the video back on. But that was a good conversation. I could dig it. I could definitely dig it, man. But to me, I don't mess with no politician. I don't care if you got an Indian mother. I don't care if you got a white mother. I don't care what you are. You're still going to serve these imperialists. You're going to serve these Zionists. Either or. So neither one of them, whatever. They cut, Bernie Sanders is a white man. He was in there. They would have rather given it to Trump than allow Bernie Sanders to win. And Bernie Sanders was talking about economics and all of that. Even though now, today, I look at Bernie Sanders as a fraud, just like Obama. But at the time when he was running, his ideas were more economic-wise, were more for the people. But now in history has shown us that he was just lying. He would have went in there and did the same thing that all politicians do.
Yeah, that doesn't see this kind of shine and attention.
Well, the location, in part, was determined by the fact that this is the epicenter of my life in Chicago, right? Within a 4 or 5 mile radius of that site. Oh, the south side of Chicago runs on the lakefront just like the north side of Chicago does, for a whole bunch of historical reasons. The parks, the open spaces, the public facilities in those communities were underinvested in relative to other neighborhoods in Chicago.
He just said it. He's saying what's going on in the community, the structural things that was done in the community to have the community function the way it does, the lack of investments. No, but his museum is here to bring people back to the Declaration of Independence. It is not to deal with those structural things that created that space that he now has that building in, where most of the poor people live at. And he's now using that space to do nothing to change their condition, only to remind them about the Declaration of Independence. This is what his building is there to do, despite knowing that the situation there. I'm going to bring it back a little bit, because he's telling you.
That the public facilities in those communities were underinvested in relative to other neighborhoods in Chicago. And so for a long time, I would drive through Lincoln Park in the north side of Chicago, and you'd look around, and there are people playing volleyball, there are tennis courts, and there are kiosks, and there's programming, and museums, and then Jackson Park, which was just as beautiful, was empty.
Yeah.
And that sent a message. And when I was organizing and when I was serving as a state legislator, I was always shocked when you'd hear stories from kids who would say, well, I've actually never gone to the lakefront.
Even though they lived on the south side. It was right there.
They lived in Englewood, but it's just, it felt foreign to them. Much less going happened during my presidency in this broader sweep of American history. And as I said before, this idea that on the right, and you see this in the Trump administration, this idea that any suggestion or criticism that America was anything other than perfect is unpatriotic.
Is a suggestion that you hate your country.
Is a suggestion that you hate your country. Now, the flip side is, among progressives, sometimes there is this sense of, well, the only true narrative of America is this one of oppression and exclusion. And I reject both those views. I think
you reject Frantz Fanon. Case closed. The people like Obama, the Obama-like Negroes, they reject Frantz Fanon and his analysis. He rejects the analysis of Malcolm X. He rejects the analysis of a George Jackson. He rejects the analysis of Carter G. Woodson, of what's his name that wrote this book right here, John Henry Clark. He rejects the philosophy of all our revolutionaries, that America is an empire, America is a capitalist state, a fascist state that's had its boot on the necks of black people and people of color since its inception. He rejects that because he's a house nigga and an Uncle Tom. He has to reject that for him to be in the house with Massa. These are not the people we should be following. We shouldn't be listening to these people. When we see people like this, our stomachs should turn. He is Kamala Harris. He is Ras Baraka. He is Lumumba's son that they done locked up or they're going to lock up in Mississippi. He is Jesse Jackson's son. All these Uncle Toms around here that have been saying they're mayors, they're council people, they're serving the people when they have passed no laws to serve the people. All of them. And they're fake activist organizations that they have in the community to mislead the people. We should despise all of them. And why? Why do we talk about them? Why are we bringing them up? Why I'm not talking about Donald Trump? Why am I bringing them up? Because as Panthers, we're Marxists, we're Leninists, and we're Maoists. When you study Maoism, it tells you the first contradiction we must deal with is within. We cannot be right if we don't deal with the contradiction amongst ourselves, amongst the leadership, amongst ourselves. What they're preaching, what they're telling our people to do, their strategy. If we're going to defeat the outside world, we must first have our strategy in place. And their strategy, Obama's strategy, is to remind our people about the Declaration of Independence. And that there's two stories in America. What are the two stories in America? What other story has there been other than suffering and exploitation of the masses of people? I mean, I don't despise Obama because he's tall, he light skinned, he got a wife, the way he talk. I despise him because he's a fascist. Obama is a fascist. When we say black people can be racist, Obama is an example of a black racist. His purpose is to maintain institutions of white supremacy. That is what a racist is. Google it up, look it up. Somebody that supports these institutions of white supremacy. He's a racist. Obama is the racist. I used to make that argument that black people can be racist. I looked up the definition. If you support institutions of racism, if you support racism, You are a racist. And you heard it from his own mouth. He is here to remind people of the Declaration of the Independence, all the lies that this government has told people to get them to fall for the banana and the tailpipe. That is his duty. That's what he's here for. He's not here to fight no revolution. He's not no activist. He's no revolutionary. He's a house nigger. Now, like, what else can you get from listening to him? Because we listen to Fanon. Fanon tell you how this entire government, this entire system, we should walk away from. We should be sharpening our knives. Because these people are here to kill us. And then we put him on, and what is he talking about? George Washington was a genius. And he had slaves. And they cut women open, drag babies out their stomach. And what does it matter? They whipped people till they died. They abused people. They made them chattel. They made them slaves from generation after generation. They took away their humanity. Can't read. Your whole life, what you could do, what you could be was limited. These people controlled a whole race of people. They created laws to lynch them, to kill them, to burn them. And then they used to take their skin and make pocketbooks. And have them as mantles. They used to have people's skin, heads, and stuff just hanging up in their homes. They used to all go out to go watch them burn and lynch and cut apart black people. Cut the titty off. Stick things up their private parts. But slavery, what is slavery? He was smart. George Washington was smart. That's what Obama said. You just heard it in his own words. They gave us what? What did the founding fathers give us? A system of exploitation? Tell me, Obama, what did the founding fathers give me, y'all? What did they give people in the hood? The 20% of the people, well, hold on, wait, only 20% of people in Newark own their homes. Out of 350,000 people, only 20% of the people here own their homes in the city. The rest of us, what did they give us? During the drug epidemic, what did they give them? AIDS, what did they give them? The pollution, all the suffering, the wars, the killing, everything that they've done to black people, the burning out of communities, flooding of communities, lynching, shooting, killing. What did they do for black people? What did they give us? Who is this us? But like you said, Ibrahim, he's not talking to me. He's not talking to us. He's talking to his us, his Uncle Tom people. The boule, the half-mixed, half-breeds that have always wanted to be white. That's who he's talking to. He's not talking to us. I mean, but they put this media out. All this state media, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, even the fake independent ones, Democracy Now! All these people promote WBAI is useless. There's state propaganda outlet now in New Jersey. In this tri-state area. It's supposed to be an independent radio station. They bring nothing but the heads of unions on there. They bring politicians on there, and then they tell you that this is a space fighting for the people. They got, what's his name, Bob Henley, this old, crusty, racist white man, is the one leading the radio station now, and is promoting straight sellouts and frauds funded by politicians. That's what WBAI is. And they keep saying they get money from the public. You don't get money from the public. You get money from these corporations that you made deals with. These corporations like unions, these politicians. These are the people you get money from. The masses of the people don't pay into WBAI no more. These people, these radio stations raise millions to pay themselves. Your hand is up. Go ahead.
Just wanted to piggyback to the Kamala discussion and Hillary Clinton. As the chairman said, this government we live under, a capitalist government that wants to control people. So it doesn't matter if they put a female up there, she's still going to represent this capitalist two-party system. Hillary, in my opinion, didn't win because she was a sorry candidate. Just like Kamala didn't win because she was a sorry candidate. They both stood for what the Democratic Party stood for. They just weren't good candidates. If they were white men, they wouldn't have won because they weren't good candidates. And they sucked. Kamala didn't know how to speak to the people. All she did was spit out a bunch of word salad and copy and paste whatever Biden said or did. Nothing about her was original. Nothing about her was her own. She had no ideas. She had no policy. All she was doing was extending whatever the Democratic Party wanted her to do. So both women, they did not win, not because they were women. They didn't win because they weren't good enough candidates. And Bernie didn't win because he was going against what the Democratic Party was standing for. So that's why he didn't win. Not because he was some, we all knew, at least revolutionaries, people that knows how this system works, knew he wasn't going to win. So that's all I got to say about that.
All power to the people. Now, look, it's simple. We're saying the only thing we can do now is build these institutions in our community to serve the people. If you're really serious about changing the conditions in the community, we have to build it. We're trying to be the cadre. We're trying to be here to show an example of how you build it. So, like, even in the summertime, we have our summer camp that we're like in the summertime, we have a few programs in the community. Right now, our summer program, that is what really has all our energy. Because every day, from Monday to Friday, we create a space for the children to come out. Like, you use it to organize. They want to play basketball. They want to box. You create spaces for them to come to utilize these things. But you're also teaching them about discipline, about hard work. It's hard to come outside every day. In the summertime, wake up early at 9 o'clock to come outside in the sun to come and train, to work out, to run the steps, do the push-up, pull-up, sit-up, dips, all of this stuff, ball handling, shooting drills. It's hard. But if you show for the next 7-8 weeks, you can come out every day to put that work in, and you see how your game transforms. Because they don't even know the basics of the game yet. We have kids all the way down to kindergarten that come out. You're teaching them defenses, you're teaching them offenses, and like they get to learn this. Like for the rest of their life, they're not going to forget where they learned that from, where they learned about basketball. They're not going to forget the other lessons that you teach them. If you want to transform your community, you must put things into practice. You must put organizations into practice, programs into practice that transform that community, that transform the people. You don't put a museum, a mausoleum to tell them about the Declaration of Independence. That does nothing. People are hungry. You have to go out there and find ways to provide them food to eat. It's all called survival programs. If there's nobody here that survives, you cannot have no revolution. So Huey P. Newton came up with the concept of survival programs that we must put in our communities to serve the people. And then the people who see through those who really care about them. I mean, if you want to support, you can support. You can support anytime. I mean, but by and large, this is what we do.
Basil's unmuted. Basil, you want to say something?
Yes, General Patience, I kind of respectfully disagree with what you said about them being women. When we begin to look at marketing, and I know you keep saying well, marketing, think about cigarettes. Is cigarettes really a good product? Was the Cabbage Patch Kids a good product? They make us believe that our children needed Cabbage Patch because they would give them birth certificates. They make you believe smoking was cool. Oh, we're coolly high when we smoke cigarettes. There's another layer that people don't understand. They made us believe that Barack Obama would be a good candidate. They made us not believe that Hillary, and it was the media. Now, would you say that Trump is a good candidate? You said they didn't win because they were not good candidates? Trump is a good candidate over Kamala? No, I don't believe that. I think Kamala would have been a damn good job, but America wasn't expecting, and the media didn't make her believe. But they made us truly believe that Barack Obama was the choice. When they make their choice and what they believe, they go with it. The money and everything starts flowing. The dollars, the marketing, all that stuff is a part of it. Like I said, Cabbage Patch ain't no damn good dog. What the hell that ugly looking thing? But those kids were going crazy. It was going off the shelf. They made them believe. And cigarettes are still on the market, as expensive as it is, because you're cool when you smoke cool. So I have a different perspective, but I mean, you know, everybody, I have to respectfully respect your opinion, but I'm just saying what I've learned in my studies as a marketer.
Wait, one more thing, Basil.
Sure.
Basil,
Sure.
we have another show during the week called Ideological Struggle. I invite you to that show, and I really want us to delve deep into the Kamala thing. But the only thing with ideological struggle, you got to come with your facts. Okay,
I will. I have a book called. I will.
No, not just the marketing aspect of it. The evidence of why Kamala could have. What did Kamala do? What did her campaign do that make you believe? And you got to be evidence based that she was a better candidate than as opposed to whatever. So I'm gonna talk to you during the week, and we're gonna invite you on that show.
When does that come on?
Wednesdays at 7:30.
On the Grown Folks Network or somewhere else?
No, on a different show. I'm gonna give you the information.
Send it to me in text. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Patience.
you're welcome. No problem. All power to the people.
It's on YouTube. I mean, but on Wednesday 7:30, ideological struggle. And like I said, we're not trying to tell nobody not to talk. Ideological struggle. Whatever ideology that you have in your mind, what you're thinking in your mind, and then we meet up, and whatever ideology we have, we struggle with it and see what's what. I mean, so that's why the General Secretary was saying, whatever facts you have to justify what you think, saying, you bring it. Look, it's like everything we do, you have to bring data to prove what you're saying, not just to Basil, to us. Like, to me, like, when I say something, like, if I'm saying that we shouldn't trust the government, like, I'm saying we shouldn't trust them because Frantz Fanon told me so, because Malcolm told me so. So, like, so I'll bring the book, and we'll read the whole book together. I mean, like, that's what we're talking about, when you got to bring something, and there's nothing wrong with that. As intellectuals, that's how we should move. And I'm sure, I mean, like Basil said, she understand. I mean, we all understand. But if you're listening from the outside, there's nothing wrong with having a conversation going back and forth. We have to talk. If we don't talk, we're not going to get anywhere. I mean, we have to have we have to be sincere also when we're having this conversation. But like I said, we can talk all day, but I always like to keep saying it because the solutions are here too. The solutions in what you do are also here. And we also have to start participating in those solutions, organizing in our community, working in our community, giving that time to serve the people, to build those underground railroads. That's important. I mean, that's all we got for this week. I mean, we'll see everybody next week, and I'm happy that everybody showed up, everybody that come. Believe me, I appreciate you because that means you are different. You are not the same. You are different from 99% of the people out there. They don't even want to hear nothing that is not about superficial crap, materialism. They don't even want to consume it. They don't even want to think. So those of you that show up to this space, I appreciate you coming. I mean, I wanted to grow the space because the more people we talk to, the more of us that come and sit down, the quicker we can start to build these institutions in the community to serve the people. And I don't think anybody's against that. Nobody's against us building our own schools. Nobody's against us building our own economic centers. We all agree on that. We just can't afford it. Like, we need the masses of people to come together for us to be able to put our resources together to do it. I mean, so if you could share, like, whatever, like if you could come, you participate, all of that is helpful. I mean, but till next time, all power to the people. I live
all
for the
power to the people.
I live for the people. I die for the people.